for a fourth public hearing on how should we allocate the $750 million that has been allocated for SUNY Downstate Hospital. We do appreciate your participation today. I know for many of you, you have attended all 4 of the public hearings, and we do appreciate your input and your presence being here. Today, we would like to, just a couple of things that I want to reiterate again. Unlike the other public hearings, we will be live streaming this public hearing, which will be on the downstateadvisoryboard.org. It is the public website, the public site that you will have access to information on all 3 public hearings that's on that site, information about the board members, information about the statute. All of that can be found on that website. You will also be able to stream this live. So if you would like to text that out to individuals that may not be able to make it, many of our elected officials were also not able to make it this evening because they're really working on the budget. It's a very busy evening, but hopefully they will be able to join us. This is also to inform you that any oral or written testimonies will be made public on that site. If you would like, if you did not register to make to do an oral testimony and you would like to speak today, if you could please sign up outside at the desk outside, and we will make sure you have an opportunity to speak today. We are also asking, we know some people have spoken at most of these public hearings. If there are individuals that have not spoken yet, this is your first time, we would just out of respect like you to possibly be more at the, to speak first. But we are going to assure you everyone will have an opportunity to speak today. Please, if you are first or last, we're hoping that we will be able to have everyone speak this evening. But we also want to make sure that it's a productive day and that we give you some updates and give you some information on where we are. So we will, like I said, I love when Pastor Straker gives us some prayers, but so I'm going to just go change the agenda a little bit and start the introductions because we have everyone. We have some of the members are joining us via Zoom, but while we have everyone here until Pastor Straker gets here, he will also introduce yourself. I would like to introduce our downstate community. Well, let me back up and introduce myself. Maybe that would be more appropriate at this particular time. My name is Oma Holloway. I am the founder and chief strategist of Adina Consulting Group. We have had, and I'm joined by Lynette Battle, who is here with me, helping me with technology. Some of the, I'm still trying, but I'm really appreciate that she is here, helping me. And if you've been to the other 3 public hearings, she's also the timekeeper. So she'll talk about that a little bit later. Outside, you will see Nicole Greaves. She is also part of the team that has been working with us as we serve as the facilitators and moderators of the DCAB meetings and discussions and moving us forward with the public hearings. She's outside with other volunteers of our team, and Angelo in the back is working all of the cameras so that and he has been wonderful over the last 2 public hearings to make sure that the information and the videos have gotten on to that public site. So they just gives you a little bit of who we are. I am a Bed-Stuy. I think most of us have a Brooklyn Bed-Stuy background, so we are very honored to be part of this discussion and this really important piece of SUNY Downstate history. So on that note, I'm actually going to introduce you to our DCAB, the Downstate Community Advisory Board members, this distinguished group of individuals who've dedicated a lot of their time and energy and knowledge and expertise through this process. So I am going to introduce them. Andrew Ryan is, he is here. He will be here shortly, but I wanted to at least acknowledge him as he would have been our first speaker. But on that note, I am so excited because Pastor Straker, we have been waiting for you. And I just, this is perfect timing. So I'm going to introduce very quickly Pastor Straker, and then he'll have opportunity to speak a little bit, give his own personal welcome. But I would love if you could just start us off with prayer.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to ask everyone to stand with me as we indicate at this time. Let us pray. Our Father and our God, we come before you this evening grateful for the breath that is in our lungs, and we can open up our mouths to give you praise and call upon your name. This meeting, this evening, God, we ask for your divine presence to be with us as we discuss matters pertaining to your institution of healing, our beloved Downstate. We thank you, God, for this institution. We thank you for the doctors, the nurses, everyone that works to be extensions of your hands, the medical students that are being trained to provide healing and comfort. I pray, God, as we deliberate this evening, that our hearts and minds will be aligned to do what is best for our community. I pray, God, that your peace will be with us, that we'll be able to hear what is being said and be able to speak clearly and articulate the very sentiments of our hearts so that we can do what is best, God, to keep Downstate alive. We pray, Father, that you would be with all of the participants that will speak this evening, be with our board, be with the medical staff that will express their heart as well. We ask, God, that we will leave here with a greater vision, purpose, and understanding for what it is you want to do in this earth realm, in this area of Brooklyn, New York. We thank you for your grace that makes all of this possible. We ask now that your presence will rest, rule, and abide with us. I ask this in the name that is above all other names. I ask this also with respect to all religions and traditions present. I ask this in the name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Straker. That was definitely why I wanted him to be here to start us off. Thank you so much for that prayer. So we will move to Dr. George. We would like if you could just introduce yourself, say a few words, and welcome to the public hearing number 4. That should be on.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Anita George. I am the chair of the Department of Family and Community Medicine at SUNY Downstate. I am also Chief Population Health Officer of the system of the clinics, which basically means I am a person that is constantly thinking about what is happening with the health of the community. But today I stand before you not as a physician with titles, but actually as somebody that whose life has been profoundly, deeply, significantly changed and shaped by Downstate. I am a product of the university. I did my residency right here at Downstate when no other family medicine or obstetrics department was interested in training me. Downstate opened their doors to me 30 years ago. And while I was doing my residency, I became pregnant and I had an emergency, a preeclampsia, and it was Downstate that saved my life. And when my son had a massive allergic reaction, it was at Downstate that they saved his life. So 30 years later, I am privileged to be part of this distinguished group of professionals that I have actually counted. We are more than 100 years together of experience. And I want to tell you that in the last 5 months, not only have I learned so much, but I have felt humbled by the opportunity of interacting with them, learning from them, developing myself. I can assure you, in the last 5 months, we have heard exactly everything that you've said. At times we've not agreed, but we've all agreed on one thing, and that is that our community is important, that your voice is heard, and that we will do everything in our possibilities to advise the governor about your voice. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be here, and I want to hear more about what you have to say. Thanks.
Thank you, if we can pass the mic to Chancellor King.
Good evening, everybody. I'm John King, the Chancellor of the State University of New York, and I just want to express gratitude. Gratitude to the folks who work at Downstate for your commitment to serving the community. Gratitude to the community members who've been a part of this process and providing important input. Gratitude to Governor Hochul and the legislature for providing us with $750 million in capital and $100 million this year to cover the deficit, and $100 million next year to cover the deficit, and creating the possibility for a more sustainable future. And then I want to thank my colleagues on the Community Advisory Board. They are very hardworking, very committed to Downstate, very committed to improving the health of Central Brooklyn, and we're looking forward to the input tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Chancellor. We have Pastor Straker.
Good evening once again, everyone. Pastor Louis Straker. I'm the lead pastor of Reflections Church. 18 years in this community serving. I'm also the chairman of the board of directors for the 67th Precinct Clergy Council, affectionately known as the God Squad. And it's an honor and a privilege to be with you this evening and all of the open forums to hear your voice. It was your voice that created the urgency for this board and this panel to come together to see what we can do to save Downstate. And I can tell you going into this, it was extremely enlightening because you go in one way and you think you have some idea of how things should go. And then you go through the process, the rigorous process of going through analysis and numbers and going and hearing all from the experts and then hearing from you passionately what you want to see with Downstate. And it begins to formulate and shape your mind as to where we can go, what we can do. And of course, we're grateful for the $750 million that has been allotted by the governor. But we do realize that there is a lot more that is needed. And so we hear you. I stand here representing our community. I stand on the shoulders of our great clergy in the community. Great men and women of God who stood many years ago to help save Downstate. Men like Bishop Finlater, men like Pastor Monrose, Pastor Vidal, and many others that fought to keep Downstate alive. And so I'm here as a community voice. I'm here with my colleagues, and I can tell you that we have been working tirelessly to make sure that we're doing right by our community. Thank you for entrusting us, and I hope that tonight we'll be able to have a substantive conversation about the future of Downstate. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Straker. Please pass the mic to Dr. Moore.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Donald Moore. I am a primary care physician that has served in Brooklyn for over 35 years. Now I'm a healthcare consultant and educator. I've made probably 20,000 house calls in New York City. And for the last 10 years, most of them have been in Brooklyn. So I know what a lot of your homes look like. And it's been my pleasure to having served in that manner. It's now my more esteemed pleasure to be able to work with my colleagues here to present to you a downstate that will provide for you the health care that I think everyone in Brooklyn really needs to have. So again, I encourage your participation, and despite the signs that I see out there, we are listening and we do care. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. Thank you. If you can please pass me Dr. Cowell.
Yeah, Fred Cole, President, United University of Professions. Keeping this very brief because I want to hear from you. The one addition that I'll make to some of what my colleagues have been saying is certainly appreciate what the governor has done in terms of the $750 million. Really appreciate what the legislature has done in trying very hard to up that to a cool $1 billion, which is a good starting point for what the community needs. And we all know what the community needs. The community needs downstate. Thank you.
We are also joined by some of the board members who were unable to make it, but they're joining us via Zoom. I'm going to start with Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner McDonald? Are you on mute?
The sound may not be on.
Is the sound, do we have the sound on here? Just 1 second, Dr. McDonald. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Well, thank you, and I am sorry I couldn't be there in person tonight. I just have several early meetings in Albany tomorrow morning, so I just had to be, in the Albany area tonight. But I do want to just acknowledge that this has been a very good experience. I've really enjoyed learning about downstate, more importantly, learning about Brooklyn and just really what the health needs are, and really getting a better understanding, not just the health needs, but some of the challenges of downstate, not just historically, but what they have present and what the future looks like. So it's been very informative for me to be part of this. I've really enjoyed the 3 previous public hearings. I've really absorbed all the feedback. There's a lot that people have said. I don't think I've ever heard of a community so passionate and so, quite frankly, deeply connected to a hospital, and that really means a lot to me. And I think it's really important for any hospital to have the community behind them, but it's really clear Downstate's earned this community being behind them as well. I look forward to hearing again from what folks have to say tonight. And I know there's a bit of a brief presentation before, so I'm just going to do a lot more listening tonight. And hopefully we come up with a solution that works for everybody. Thanks so much.
Just to avoid any feedback coming back, it's Claire Patterson, are you on?
Yes, hi. Pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm Claire Patterson. Like Dr. McDonald, I'm sorry I could not be there in person, but I am here with you, for you. These past 3 months for me has been great discovery and enlightenment about the work of Downstate. And you continue to be a lifeline to Central Brooklyn. Having served the New York City Health Hospital system for over 2 decades, I hear you, I understand the pain. These hearings give us a great opportunity to ensure the future of Downstate, to reflect the priorities, and strengthen the care for families, and as well as training of the next generation of great healthcare professionals. So I am just going to listen some more. It's been a lot hard work, but we're up to the task, and our goal is to ensure the best care for Brooklyn. So, thank you.
Thank you. We have Dr. K. Dr. Kenneth.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you,
Good
Dr.
evening,
K.
everybody. Good evening, everybody. I'm very, very sorry I could not be in New York. By the way, I am, despite my accent, I'm a very, very Brooklyn person. I was raised in Brooklyn, from Lee High School to being the chief medical officer for the great preferred health. As you know, I've been having things such a long time. I practiced for more than 45 years. I must have delivered close to 5,000 babies. In fact, some of you in the audience may have been my patient. So I do have a vested interest in the future of the state. And I practice in Brooklyn, I live in Brooklyn, and definitely I hope to share in the future of downstate in Brooklyn. Once again, I don't want to be too long. I want to listen to you and see what extent I can help you attain that goal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So these are the. So once again, if we're introduced and welcomed by, these are the members of the Downstate Community Advisory Board. Can we just give them one more hand for their Thank you, and thank you for the introduction. And as soon as Andrew Ryan is here, I will ask him to also give his welcome to everyone. Okay? If some of you came to public hearing 3, that was the first time we had an opportunity to kind of give you an update of what has been happening over the last 5 months and kind of giving an idea of what we have heard. We do want you to know how important these public hearings have been for guiding many of the discussions. This is not easy work at all. And as Dr. Kyle said, $750 million seems like a lot from a lay person's perspective, and I'm a Brooklynite. But the more that we look at the needs, we know there's so much more that needs to get done. So we do appreciate all the time and all of your input, and please understand that we do hear you. But just as an update on what has gone on, I definitely want to just give you some information. As what I'm giving you is on the public website, and you can have opportunities that once you have kind of digested some of the information, if you have further questions, if you could please, we have note cards, and if you would like to submit it via email, we would like to get your feedback on the information that we're providing today. So first, SUNY Downstate. Most of you just, are very well versed on what is SUNY Downstate Hospital. It was constructed in 1966 and is certified by the Department of Health for 342 beds, double occupancy. The hospital is comprised of an 8-story wing and an attached 3-story section of the building totaling 693,000 gross square feet. The building needs major capital rehabilitative work, which everyone has acknowledged. What is the DCAB's charge? And here are some updates. The advisory board for the modernization and revitalization of SUNY Downstate shall complete a study and provide written recommendations to prioritize healthcare services in the SUNY Downstate area. Recommendations must be reasonable, scalable, and fiscally responsible plan for the financial health, viability, and sustainability of SUNY Downstate. Originally, capital funding was not to exceed approximately $750 million with a report deadline of April 1st, 2025. Thanks to Governor Hochul, now the full $750 million in capital funding will be available. And given the complexity of the situation and desire for additional feedback, the report deadline has been extended to on or before June 1st, 2025. We heard you. That was definitely advocacy on all parts. Factors the Downstate Community Advisory Board is considering: overall health care, service and delivery trends and models, historic and projected financials for the hospital and the campus, current state of building infrastructure and capital needs, community health care needs, outcomes, and health disparities, existing inpatient and outpatient service offering and health outcomes, capacity and availability of inpatient and outpatient services in the broader primary and secondary service area, efficiency of operations and quality of healthcare services benchmarking, training needs for students and employment outcomes. Part of the process is the DCAB, part of the mandate and our process has been the DCAB outreach. As you can see, we've held this is our 4th public hearing. We've had 2 public hearings that were held at SUNY Downstate, and this is our 2nd one in Medgar Evers College. This is covering the primary service areas that are the primary zip codes for which SUNY Downstate Hospital services. In addition to hosting public hearings where we have had hundreds of individuals make oral or written testimonies, the DCAB has also met with SUNY Downstate President, College of Medicine chairs, the interim CEO of the hospital, Health and Hospitals, Kings County, Maimonides, One Brooklyn Health, and Brooklyn for Downstate. So these are some of the outside organizations that we have met with. This is not an exhaustive list, but this is kind of some of the key themes that have come out of the public hearings, that have come out of the written testimonies. This is a compilation, so this just is a visual to show you all of the themes that have come out of all of our meetings and all of our written testimonies. This is, as we said, is not an exhaustive list, but this is just to give you a snapshot and a visual of some of the things that we have heard and read. Some of the feedback we've heard about services, which were extremely important. Some of those have been inpatient, ambulatory care, outpatient, and emergency services that were emphasized. Community health needs have introduced several service lines into discussion with frequent references to oncology, maternal health, preventive health, and primary care, chronic disease treatment, kidney treatment, cardiology, and many more. Some of the other things that services that have come out is increasing case mix, electronic health records, EHR, and stronger collaboration and strategic partnerships with nearby hospitals were also areas of focus. Here are some of the key issues that the members of the DCAB are faced with at each discussion, each meeting. What does the community need most that Downstate is best positioned to provide? What should be the mix of inpatient services and what should be the mix of outpatient services? What is operationally, financially feasible? How much and what type of space is needed for the various inpatient and outpatient services? How should the available capital funding be invested? The consultants that have been brought on to support the work is Adina Consulting Group. We have served as the facilitators and coordinators of these public hearings and the facilitators of the meetings with the DCAB. We have Kaufman Hall, we have Ewing Cole, QPK, and Ramble. These are all consultants. Deloitte Consulting has been added to provide a review of the financial feasibility estimations. This came out of, we heard you, want more of a review from another outside consultant. We have brought on another outside consultant to do part of this review. What are the strengths? This is very important, and this has come out of many of the discussions that we've had with you. The hospital is valued. It provides important inpatient services like the kidney transplants, vital services like regional perinatal care, and more. It has the trust of the community. It trains a diverse workforce. Large, high-quality medical school and health professions programs. Medical school classes are more diverse than the national average at 93rd percentile for African American graduates. Graduates tend to stay and work in the community. Concordant care improves health outcomes. The strengths about health disparities. Work of the hospital and clinicians addresses health disparities. It ensures access as a safety net institution, and it's community-informed and action-oriented disparities and health equity research. But we all acknowledge there's some challenges. Some of these challenges include community health needs are vast, high rates of chronic conditions, maternal and infant mortality, cancer, and high ED, emergency department ED utilization. Shortage of primary and preventive care contributes to avoidable hospitalizations. There's a trend is towards outpatient care, with outpatient services expected to grow 16% nationally over the next 10 years compared to 2% projected growth in inpatient volume. SUNY Downstate Hospital's underutilization. The average daily consensus is about 165 patients. About 1/3 of Brooklynites leave the borough for inpatient hospital care. SUNY Downstate accounts for 9% of inpatient volume in its primary service area. Only 1 in 10 hospital admissions are elective and not through the ED. Nationally, higher hospital volume is correlated with better patient outcomes. Financial feasibility is a challenge. The hospital has been running a deficit of around $80 million to $100 million without temporary state support. Government payers account for more than 80% of revenue. DSH helps significantly with Medicaid. Small, standalone hospital needing referrals and economies of scale. The infrastructure is aging and needs investment. Some potential scenarios. DCAB is exploring and analyzing a variety of options and service lines based on feedback from the community and advice of consultants. DCAB is sharing some of the scenarios being modeled as the different options are being evaluated. No decisions on recommendations have been made. Analysis will continue and be refined, so the following information is preliminary and a work in progress. This is a new slide that if you came to the third one, this is giving you a,
Can you minimize the Zoom participants? We can't see the slide.
can we move the Zoom participants? Is that possible? Okay, we're gonna try, but you can also, it's on the public site, so if you wanna look at it on your phone. Actually. Yes. She's still trying to put the sides.
It's the line holder.
They're talking about, oh, yeah, it's moving.
If you click the line on the far left, it'll minimize that view of the.
Are you trying to do, this is what you're trying to, okay, well, right now, you can also pull it up on your phone, but I'll try to get back to it if we can move it. So this gives you some of the potential scenarios being modeled and explored. One of the scenarios is a new hospital tower and some hospital rehab. This is consistent with information received from Brooklyn for Downstate as of April 24th. The inpatient infrastructure would build new 250-bed inpatient tower on existing shorter part of hospital footprint. It would address the mechanical, electric, and plumbing, the MEP issues in current hospital, and the rehab first 3 floors of shorter part of hospital. The outpatient infrastructure will enhance the ED, additional space for ambulatory care in hospital. The clinical service would continue existing inpatient and outpatient services, expand both inpatient and outpatient services in many areas, add urgent care, support upgrade of ED to level 1 or 2 trauma center. The estimated costs, these are just estimates, we are still being reviewed, are between 2.2 to 2.7 billion, and it would be over a 10-year period of construction. Another scenario that has been presented is a new advanced ambulatory surgery center and new hospital tower and limited hospital rehab. The inpatient infrastructure will build new 100 to 200 inpatient bed tower, address MEP issues in current hospital. The outpatient infrastructure will maintain existing ED with minimal changes, build large advanced ambulatory surgery center, includes parking. The clinical services continue existing inpatient and outpatient services, expand outpatient state-of-the-art surgery, and focus on expanding Mary, I think I'm saying this wrong. Quantumary, okay. And specialty services. My Midwestern accent comes out quite a bit. Estimated cost between 1.9 and 2.5 billion. Construction over 5 to 7 years. Another scenario, partial hospital rehab and new ambulatory surgery center. It will address MEP issues in current hospital, convert approximately 45 double occupancy rooms to single rooms with bathroom and shower. The outpatient infrastructure will modernize the ED, build new medium-sized ambulatory surgery center. The clinical service, continue existing inpatient and outpatient services, expand outpatient surgery, and focus on expanding 2 specialty services, cardiology and oncology, 750 to 850 million, 5 to 7 years construction. The next scenario that we will show, maybe we can move from the bottom and move it to the top so that they can see at the bottom. It would be a partial hospital. The scenario is a partial hospital rehab and new ambulatory surgery center, plus varying levels of collaboration with health and hospitals. The inpatient infrastructure will address MEP issues in current hospital, convert approximately 45 double occupancy rooms to single rooms with bathroom and shower. The outpatient infrastructure will modernize the ED, build new medium-sized ambulatory surgery center. Clinical services, continue vast majority of inpatient and outpatient services, and coordinate reciprocal changes based on the clinical focus areas. 750, the estimated capital cost, 750 to 850 million, 5 to 7 years. There's a note that's hard to see at the bottom. We may have to, I don't know if we can change the zoom, but these estimates do not include cost of fixtures and equipment, design and planning, permitting. That all of these costs will increase the capital estimates above. So, for the 4 prior scenarios, the operating deficit worsens, and for the first 2 scenarios, it significantly worsens. The annual operating deficit reflects projections for steady state operations based on SUNY Downstate's recent performance to predict the future. For any of the prior scenarios, to approach financial sustainability, all of the following must occur. The share of patients on commercial insurance must dramatically increase, currently 10% of SUNY Downstate, but 22% in the combined primary and secondary service areas. Commercial payment rates must improve. SUNY Downstate's cost structure must be substantially reduced, increase productivity, lower overhead expenses, etc. So this is an update. We wanted you to be aware of where we are so far, the work that has been put in, the challenges, but also trying to really look at the opportunities as the decision on what the recommendations will be. For today, as we did with the 3rd public hearing, we are asking you, again, what are your top priorities for allocating $750 million in state capital investments to modernize and improve SUNY Downstate Hospital? We know there are a number of people who have signed up. That's either, if you want to speak, if you could please sign up at the outside table. We are keeping the link open, or you can send an email if, based on the information that you've received today, if you have very specific questions, please feel free to send them in. But we are now going to move to the testimonies, because as our esteemed members, DCAB members have said, this is about hearing from you, and we want you to be assured that we have heard you. So I will call your name, just so you know, we have the time clock. I mean, many of you have seen the time clock. We're gonna keep it, let me show you one more slide, because I do want you to see this. Here's a QR code. If you would like to pull up these slides, are part of the QR code. It will take you directly to the public site. Okay, so I probably should have showed that first. You're my guy, thank you. So this will take you directly to the slides on the public site, okay? If you would like to send any questions or comments, I know this is the first time many of you have probably seen this information. If you came to the 3rd one, you've seen parts of it, there's some updates. Please feel free to send an email, and it will be shared with the DCAB members. And I do appreciate, some people did send their testimonies early to make sure that all of those were shared with the board members. And although we're being live streamed, it will be, this public hearing will be on the public site, okay? All right, with no further ado, I want us to go, we have a 2-minute time clock. Please respect the time because we want to make sure we get to everyone. And I know there was, we've had some people who've signed in, but I'm actually going to start with Sophia Salas Brockwell. Oh, okay, I called the first team. These are SUNY Downstate medical students, right on that. And please, that's a good point. There are two microphones. If you could please talk straight into those microphones. This is a setup so that we can stream and that we can get you covered. If you are taking pictures, I just don't want to make sure there's no obstruction, okay? So please, Ms. Brockwell, we are listening.
Hi, I'm actually Sophia Zweig, a different Sophia. I'm a fourth-year medical student at Downstate, future family medicine doctor and proud resident of the neighborhood, District 9. I care deeply about my patients. Before I go into my suggestions and requests for how the money should be used, we have some concerns about the transparency of the way the funding will be allocated. Public records have indicated that it is only to be used for infrastructure costs and not hiring costs. So I would like to have the board clarify that for anyone who may not know. Yes, okay. So any suggestions about hiring are not applicable. Okay, thank you very much. So as the students have said before, taking away inpatient services will strip us of essentially hands-on learning experience that are fundamental to making effective and safe and caring physicians. We cannot learn how to coordinate complex care or care for critically ill patients in only an outpatient setting. This puts the health of all of the patients that all of us will care for in the future after graduating at risk. Importantly, sending our hospitalized patients, many of whom are disabled, to other hospitals, if we decrease the number of inpatient services here, we'll put their health at risk. Many of them can't even access other hospitals, and there's unclear plans for how these patients will be fitted into the other hospitals, such as the number of beds and staff there. We request that the kidney transplant center be kept open. It's only one of the few in Brooklyn and provides an essential service to our community, many of whom have kidney failure, our patients. We request that you please renovate the maternity services to reflect the patient needs, maintain the regional perinatal center, only one of two in Brooklyn. The number of ultrasound equipment there is not adequate. The number of radiology equipment, such as x-ray, CAT scans, also not adequate for our patients. I've had many patients who had to stay extra days in the hospital just awaiting a scan. We also need some kind of automated appointment reminder system for patients. Many patients miss their follow-up appointments because they're not even notified of the appointment or it's canceled without them being notified.
We have learned from our past 3 public hearings, always start off with the medical students. They always stay within 2 minutes.
May I? All right, so, hi.
Can you say your name, please?
Yeah, so my name is Sophia Salas Brookwell. I'm also a medical student at SUNY Downstate. And I appreciate my colleague, another Sophia medical student, for speaking. But I just want to take a step back and speak to both the board and the community members, my neighbors in Flatbush and PLG and Crown Heights, and just have a moment to reflect on kind of the moral valence of these decisions that we're about to make in allocating $1 billion, right? So when you start medical school, the first thing that they teach you about is morality in healthcare, right? And I have had to have conversations with faculty members, with patients, about patient attrition, undocumented patients who are too afraid of detention by ICE to access medical care. My classmates and I work hard at the Brooklyn Free Clinic, which serves exclusively patients without health insurance, and I am ashamed to be a constituent of Kathy Hochul, of Cognair Adams, and anyone else who has capitulated to the fascist uprising that we're experiencing as Americans. So I would just like to say, quite the PT students. You know, we owe that to our neighbors, to each other, and I just want to take that moment to let's think about this. When we talk about these numbers, $1 billion, these are people's lives. This is the quality of life, and this is not something that we will tolerate. This nonsense with the budget. So I'd like you guys to reflect on that, and not thoughts and prayers, but actually talk to us. What are we going to do? We need transparency, and we need this healthcare infrastructure for Brooklyn.
Thank you. Is Dr. Balili here? Is Dr. Balili? Okay. Is there a Dr. Wallach Thomas? And a Mr. Sanford Thomas? Dr. Marquez?
Yeah, Dr. Marquez.
If Dr. Marquez can come to the mic, you can come here. And then next, it would be Ira Narcisse. And then Dana Sway. S-E-A-G. Okay, thank you. Dr. Marquez?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Again, so I just wanted to tell you that I took the time to look at the mission of SUNY Downstate, and that mission promises to provide outstanding education to physicians, scientists, nurses, and other healthcare professions, advance knowledge through cutting-edge research and translate it into practice. The College of Medicine extends that mission, even further emphasizing excellence and equity in education, research, clinical care, and community engagement. This mission, or I should say this promise, was not just words on a website. It's a living, breathing commitment that inspires many candidates to choose Downstate as their medical school training. The removal of inpatient services from University Hospital would strike at the very core of our mission, eliminating a cornerstone of the comprehensive education that brought many of the first-year medical students that have accepted the letter to come to Downstate for that very reason. Now, I understand that some might say, well, inpatient experience can be picked up at Kings County or other affiliates. No harm, no foul. But as any healthcare professional in Brooklyn knows, these hospitals are already stretched in their limits. They are at capacity, serving patients while also hosting students from Caribbean schools and neighboring institutions. There is harm, there is foul. I lost my place. In closing, I ask you to see beyond the numbers and logistics. Please, please see the students, the future doctors, and the countless patients they will one day serve. Protecting inpatient services is not just about preserving beds, it's about preserving the future of medicine and the promise SUNY Downstate made to all of our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Your name, please?
Ariane Narcisse. Thank you all. Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak today. My name is Ariane Narcisse, and I'm proud to be a medical student at SUNY Downstate, as well as a student of the public health program, studying community health sciences. I'm here today because I'm deeply concerned about the proposal to eliminate inpatient services. We've been hearing about it for months, and the rumors have been intensifying. Despite this idea that, we're not losing Downstate, it still kind of feels like we're in danger of losing downstate. So I want to tell you that inpatient care is a really important part of medical education. I cannot treat what I've never learned. I'm telling you this, I'm dressed here today, not just to show you that I'm a medical student, but I'm going to an inpatient shift after this, where I'm going to be learning about really complex, really high acuity cases in the emergency unit. That's a really important part of making me the physician I want to be tomorrow to this community. And so as you think about the changes that you're going to be making and how we can preserve the longevity of downstate and how we can really serve our community, please remember students like me, like the Sophias and other students who will be speaking. We want to be the best that we can be for Brooklyn, for downstate, and that starts with keeping downstate and keeping inpatient services. Thank you.
Right? Is the hospital a business? You're saying we're not turning a profit, but is the hospital a business?
Okay, this is if you would like to decide to say more, there might be time, okay? So let's just get it through to everyone that signed up first, okay? If Robert Ferrangi, Dana, I just call it one more time, Dana Steag, S-E-A-G. Ms. Cynthia Clark. Mrs. Clark?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good evening to everyone. My name is Cynthia Clark. I'm a retired nurse that worked at Downstate for 35 years. I started at Downstate. I graduated from Kings County School of Nursing. And I am very concerned about what you're proposing to do with in-services. I do feel that Downstate needs to be upgraded with the technology, and that the infrastructure that we have right now will not sustain that technology. But I do feel very strongly about the community and the patients that are underserved in this area. To say that we are going to send patients to other hospitals or even to Kings County, which is at an overcapacity at this point. And working at the hospital for 35 years, I've had the ability to speak to patients. They don't have that ability to go to other hospitals, okay? There are people who are not able to even come into Downstate without some sort of assistance. And I feel that Downstate needs to be modernized, it needs to be upgraded. Over the years, I've seen it go down, and I feel that as a community, and as somebody who's worked at Downstate, I feel that the Central Brooklyn is not served properly, and that we all need to speak out and have our say as to what needs to be done. And that means that I feel that we should not be losing beds, we should be increasing beds.
Thank you. Ms. Michelle Adams. And Ibrahim Ayub. Ibrahim. Thank you. We will give you your 5 seconds. Okay, we will start from the beginning. Okay, thank you, Ms. Adams.
Good evening, esteemed members of the advisory board, moderators, city council representatives, physicians, colleagues, hospital staff, students, and valued community members. My name is Dr. Michelle Adams. I am a former graduate of the nursing program at SUNY Downstate. I also obtained my doctorate in healthcare administration. I thank you for gathering here today, and I stand before you to address a critical issue. The urgent need to secure that $1 billion for the renovation of SUNY Health Science University Hospital's inpatient. This investment is not just about bricks and mortar, it's about safeguarding the future of healthcare, education, and community wellness. Our hospital has been a beacon of hope and healing for generations, but it now faces aging infrastructure that hampers our ability to deliver the best care, train the next generation of healthcare professionals, and remain in the foremost of medical innovation. Without significant renovation, we risk compromising patient safety, limiting educational opportunities, and falling behind in medical advancements. This $1 billion investment will modernize and enhance our patient safety and expand our capacity to cutting-edge research and training. It will also create jobs, it stimulates the local economy, and reinforce our commitment to serving the community's health needs. I urge all of us, leaders, healthcare professionals, community members, to come together and prioritize this vital investment of inpatient services. Together, we can ensure SUNY Health Science University Hospital continues to be a pillar of excellence and a symbol of hope in generations, for generations to come. There's just one thing I want to say. Brooklyn needs downstate. Brooklyn needs downstate. How much do we need? $1 billion. How much do we need? $1 billion. When do we need it? Now. When do we need it? Now.
Thank you, thank you. Mr. Ayu?
Yes,
Am I
ma'am.
saying it
Thank
correctly?
you. Yes, my name is Ibrahim Ayu. I am the chairman of the Justice Reforms Committee of the Brooklyn NAACP. Our vice president here, Madam Joan Alexander Bakawita. I am talking about SUNY downstate funding and how it must stand alone. Because your report was nice, and this is no offense, but it didn't talk about how what she pledged, she's now holding up in budget negotiations over bail and discovery reform, which I myself, even though I support SUNY downstate, like I support my spirit, my soul, but I'm going up on May 7th to lobby for the bail and discovery reform that she's holding up the funding for downstate over the negotiations. So I'm caught in a catch-22 because while I don't want us, after her visit to Trump, to scale back bail and discovery reforms, if that's being held up to fund SUNY, now our community is being made to pick. Do we let our brothers get locked up and keep downstate open, or do we close downstate and let our brothers come home? And that is an impossible choice for our community. We refuse to make that choice. SUNY downstate represents more than just a hospital. It is a lifeline for the black and brown communities of central Brooklyn who have long been forsaken by these systems. And these bail and discovery reforms that we just passed deserve their own honest debate unattached to a healthcare of our community. And SUNY downstate is not on the table. And I echo the passion of the students because like she said, this is not a business. This is not, oh, well, you give me this, I give you that. Okay, we know how that goes in Brooklyn. It doesn't go well. But so what we want you to understand is that literally, and like I said, I really don't disrespect, but I'm also a man of faith. And it's written that we should speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, ensure justice for those being crushed. And that's Proverbs 31, verse 8. Okay, and interestingly enough, it's 2 verses before they begin to describe the virtuous woman. So I see a lot of women up here, especially now, NAACP, and it's going to be on y'all in partnership with us to make this happen. SUNY downstate must be funded. Brooklyn and its people must be respected. Thank you.
Mulverine Beverly? Is it Dr. Beverly?
dressed up today. Yes, good evening, everyone. I think it's so important to, sorry. I think it's so important for us to recognize the need to improve the structure of downstate. The $750 million that's going to improve the whole building of downstate. I think what we can't forget and we can't leave out is what is the mission of downstate. To me, downstate has a medical school, a nursing school, a public health school, and a hospital. Why can't the mission be that the mission is to be the model hospital across the nation that improve the health of particularly the black population? Because there's no hospital across the country where the black population has better health outcome. And here's an opportunity to include that as the mission, because you could build a building all you want and you could put all the money in there, but at the end of the day, if you don't value the patients that are you treating, we're gonna have this conversation 3 years from now, and who wants to do that? And I think it's so important because it's the lack of human value. We have to value the population. And because if your perception of the individual or the population is not the reality, their health is gonna go south. But if the perception and the reality is the same, good, bad, happy, or sad, we have a better opportunity to collaborate. And if we would look at what's needed, because if you're gonna rebuild downstate, and we should, don't get me wrong, but patient engagement and cultural competence has to be a training program. And it's so important because it's what particularly when there's a large Caribbean, African-American population, and when I was at Kings County, the Spanish population was from Panama. They weren't from Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic. So it's what I refer to as the lookalike syndrome. Go tell a British person they're Irish and see how far you get. Go tell a Chinese they're Japanese and see. Go tell an Indian they're Pakistani. Go to the Jamaican they're Trinidadian. Go to the Puerto Rican. And most important, hear me now, go tell a New Yorker they're from New Jersey. It's not gonna work. So I think it's so important because we have to, because if you don't understand the cultural similarities and differences, it affects the health outcome. And the other thing I just want to focus on, the elderly black population has the worst health outcomes in all disease categories. And so it's a large population in Brooklyn, and that's why I'm saying that downstate has to have a mission to be the best hospital. Because when you look at the leapfrog scores, they're not good. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with current time, because it was doing so in the past. In the past, a year ago, it was the same.
Thank you.
So I just want to focus on the need for the heightened human value. And that goes, because I tell medical students when I do training, because I do training on patient engagement and cultural competence, if that medical student graduates and goes into a system that's toxic towards, let's say, black patient, 6 months later, you're going to be toxic as well, to no fault of your own.
Thank you.
Culture has to change, and that's what I'm speaking about, and I'll be happy to have this conversation and the training program that I've developed. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Matthew Pincus? Dr. Matthew? Mr. Matthew Pincus? I was coming, I'm sorry. And then next, Ms. Karen Fleming. Karen Fleming?
All right, Don.
Okay.
Well, I'm Dr. Matthew Pincus. I'm professor of pathology and laboratory medicine here at SUNY Downstate for over the past 30 years. I strongly believe that it's vital to restore University Hospital to its former high level of excellence that was recognized nationally and internationally. Now, this is the 4th advisory board public hearing over the past 4 months. There have been many excellent presentations by our community, all of us together here, and by our staff as to why University Hospital must not only be preserved, but must be expanded. These presentations, together with the humongous efforts of the UUP, the head of which is the insuperable Dr. Fred Covell, who has not only obtained the granting of $750 million by the state of New York, but an additional $250 million for this wonderful hospital that must be expanded. Yet, there seems to be no plan of action as to how to not only utilize these funds, but to acquire more funding. There seems to be some kind of unexplained secrecy as to what course we should be taking. Now, we faculty members at Downstate Medical Center staff the entirety of University Hospital and have been providing very high levels of care for our patients. We understand what it takes to build and maintain an excellent medical center. All of us have proved this. Now, here is the problem. There are you raised the issue before, very nicely, by the way, I must compliment you, that are there other ways that we can raise funds and other ideas for maintaining the excellence of University Hospital? And it is an outstanding hospital. And the answer is there are 4 areas. First, please consult the faculty here. Meet with the chairman, meet with the community, and you'll understand what exactly has to be done. I brought this out at the first meeting. That's number 1. Fine, I'll get this done quickly. There are donors who are giving money to Downstate. That was brought up by Miss Debbie Eagle, who was at the last meeting at Downstate Medical Center, saying that she herself has raised, as a nurse, over $10 million of donors who want to support and provide money to support Downstate University Hospital. Third, you notice that there are a lot of new buildings that have gone up in the air. Who do you think is living there? These are very well-to-do people who need medical care. Who's going to provide it?
We are.
Why do you have to have them go over the bridge up to, say, York Avenue and 68th Street, taking 2.5 hours, because of traffic? This is preposterous. And finally, right here, we're meeting at Medgar Evers College, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay. What does Medgar Evers College do? It teaches students. Who are the students? People in the community. Why don't we have a program where pre-med students at Medgar Evers College can be admitted to Downstate Medical Center? I don't understand. There is a vast range of possibilities here. No one has approached us. I want to know why, and I think that we have to start talking with you and giving you the ideas. And by the way, thank you.
It's all been recorded. This is, as we have stated about the challenges, there are challenges, but also, we hear you. We may not be able to address everything this evening, but we do hear you. So thank you, and we are making sure that this is recorded, this is live streamed. So, yes, Ms. Fleming.
Yes, my name is Karen Fleming. And in the beginning of the whole process, somebody on the committee said to me, you must trust the process. And believe me, I've been trying to do that, but it's not working out very well. Part of the problem is I'm concerned about process. I read the open meetings law to all of us, to the people here and to the people there. And I said, listen, you have to do something about that. Nothing. You're having meetings in between the meetings that we know about. You don't even lower yourself to publish, an agenda to let us know what you talk about. You are talking about us. It's our money. And I have a problem with that. That you don't seem, or whoever is standing behind you, does not seem to realize that we know what's going on. Furthermore, the people on the committee ought not to be having their own agendas. And up in Albany, or down wherever you are, telling stories and trying to get it to turn in the direction that you want it to be. It was your job to come here and find out what needed to be done, not to promote your own agenda. If you had an agenda, you should have stood on the outside and got your agenda published. Now, that's my thought on that. Secondarily, Ms. Omar spent 15 minutes and 43 seconds in the last meeting reading to us a document that you never gave us. We don't even know what was read. It was up there. What happened? Today, it was 45 minutes that you spent talking to us, where we need to talk to them. We need to know what's on their mind. You need to hear the rest of what's on our mind. There's no back and forth here. You all are just like a sponge, taking in whatever it is, and we don't know where it's coming out the other end. But we know what we need here. We know what we need. Nobody's asking us. Nobody's bringing us to the table. You got the table on one end, and what about the other side?
Thank you.
Somebody's got to feed. I'm not done. Somebody's got to feed the people.
Just to remind that there has been, the public hearings were one form of getting information and feedback. Every letter, every statement has been read and reviewed and thought very carefully. I'm just, this is part, I know that, it's some challenge if that has happened. We also have, and I know there was a comment about meeting with faculty. We did meet with the SUNY Downstate chairs. So that was on the slide. So I just wanted to make reference. And to Ms. Forming's point, I just want to make sure, and we can put this up at the end, the QR code, you can have full access to the documents that were in public hearing 3, and you can get the ones that we did for public hearing 4 will all be made available and accessible to you right now on the public website. So if you want to see what changes have been made, what has been included, I do want to make sure that you do know that public website, which came out of us hearing you, was one of those ways of trying to bring some of the information to you. So just so you know that is available to you, that you can pull up this information as we speak. Ms. Prince, Dr. Kamarajan, Shella, Dr. Hajpateen. I'm sorry if I'm really not doing well with pronouncing her names. It's P-A-G-T-E-N. Okay. So if you could please give your name and then, and please, 2 minutes, please.
Thank you. Distinguished advisory board members, my name is Chela Kamarajan. I'm serving as an assistant professor of psychiatry at the SUNY Downstate Health Sciences University. I'm also part of the renowned neurodynamics laboratory, which has been receiving continuous NIH funding over the last 50 years to do cutting-edge research on addiction, neuroscience, and genetics. As you may know, I attended last 3 hearings of this advisory board, and I am now submitting the testimony for the 4th hearing today. And I do understand that the focus of the hearing has moved from whether to modernize and revitalize to how to modernize and revitalize. Now is the time we should seriously analyze and sort out all the ideas and plans collected so far, and also consider other suggestions that will be collected from all stakeholders in the coming days and weeks, so that we will soon arrive at a concrete plan for our goal of revitalizing and modernizing SUNY Downstate, a historic institution. To achieve this goal in the best way possible, as some former speakers mentioned, I would also strongly advocate to the advisory board that it must consider the modernization plan proposed by the clinical chairs of SUNY Downstate as the first priority. As most of you know, the clinical chairs shared their vision to modernize Downstate in their first letter, and then recently they updated the letters of their plans, And I'm of the understanding that both of these letters have been already submitted to the advisory board for consideration. The main reason for me to firmly emphasize the point that it is very important to examine and follow the chair's plan and vision is that it is the clinical chairs who know the current status as well as future needs of the hospital so well, as they dedicatedly serve the hospital on a day-to-day basis. On the other hand, I'm finishing. I must also admit that although the chair's letter emphasized the modernization plan of the facility, infrastructure, clinical services in broad terms, it does not list all necessary items and details with attached dollar amounts. Therefore, I may call upon and request the chairs to further collect opinions and ideas broadly from downstate staff and faculty members for their valuable inputs. Furthermore, the chair should also reach out to downstate engineering department to get proper estimate and dollar amounts for each project instead for modernization, to do floor by floor construction and modernization so that the proposed plan becomes more elaborate, representative and realistic.
Thank you. Thank you. And we did receive the written statements from the chair, updated statements. Yes.
Hi, my name is Dr. Vikram McFadden. I'm an occupational therapist by trade, associate professor with the School of Health Professions. I'm also a born and raised New Yorker. I am an appointed member of Downstate representative to the Faculty and Advisory Council on Teaching and Technology. I'm a Downstate senator to University Faculty Senate, and I'm also the Health Science Campus Sector alternate. I mention these different credentials and titles to you to share my perspectives, to give you insight as to what I'm saying and where it's coming from. Now, a lot of my fellow colleagues and ambassadors have mentioned a lot of great things. It's hard to follow medical students, but I'm going to try to follow medical students. I think about my recent experience on Friday at SUNY Oneida for our 200th fall plenary. A lot of our 60-plus campuses in SUNY are mentioning deficits of cafeteria issues, food issues, library issues. We're at Downstate. This is not suburbia. This is an urban medical center with real crises. When COVID-19 struck, it was SUNY Downstate, not Stony Brook, not Upstate Medical Center, not Buffalo, not Albany. COVID-19 hospital in the state, stepping into the epicenter of the pandemic when we had no data and no information. With our nurses, our LPNs, our CNAs, our lab techs, our medical doctors, everyone stepping towards service, not stepping away or retreating, as other institutions did. When I talk about Stony Brook and Upstate, and obviously the other medical centers, it's apples and oranges. Downstate Medical Center is not like any other medical center in New York State. We have our own issues and our own deficits, but I do say this. A few points. PowerPoints can be very boring. My students will tell me all the time. Add information graphics. Add different ways to absorb the information as opposed to just text-based information. It makes it much more consumable and much more relatable. Second component really quick. As a New York City paramedic in my past life, when Mary Immaculate Hospital closed, when St. John's Hospital closed, when Peninsula Hospital closed, when Parkside Hospital closed in Forest Hill, Queens, the hospitals are gone. But we forget about the people that they serve. Everyone goes towards Manhattan or goes towards Long Island. They don't stay in the borough where the hospital's closed. What I'm saying is that we're going to create disparity if we don't think about the inpatient and outpatient perspectives. Last point, I saw the terms College of Medicine mentioned a lot in all due respects. There's also School of Public Health, College of Nursing, School of Health Professions, and the School of Graduate Study. And final point, sorry, just really quick. Downstate is a product and SUNY is a brand. For any product to thrive, you gotta give it some money. You gotta give it some love and some attention. Any product like my Apple iPhone, which is going to be obsolete in 2-3 months, I'm going to invest in a new product very soon. So if SUNY wants to have good PR, invest into your products, not just the ones in Upstate or in Suffolk County. Thank you very much.
We have Ms. Yvette Gardner, Dr. Simon Rabinowitz. We have C.C. Evans and Hector Robertson. So if you can please come to the mic. 2 minutes.
Good evening, I'm Simon Rabinowitz, Vice Chairman of Pediatrics at Downstate from Brooklyn. I choose, and I have chosen to stay at Brooklyn. Sadly, the financial landscape has changed so dramatically since the committee's inception that they must examine possibilities that were not thought of before. The governor has not embraced this principle, creating a budget with sizable increases in Medicaid and Medicare at a time when the federal government is looking to cut. The new federal policy must dramatically impact those that are most vulnerable, i.e. our patient population. The governor has maimed us, has crippled us, has suffocated us, and most dramatically ignored us for decades. And Downstate is a mere shell of what we were, and nobody should deny this. When you show information about not having beds and not having services, why? Because they've taken things away that serve those purposes.
That's right.
So dreaming about getting $1 billion to build a new facility to replace an entity that at this moment has inadequate faculty, inadequate staffing, and has been stripped of the essential core programs that in 2025 generate income for other hospitals. To ignore this to me seems quite naive. I'm going to suggest a comprehensive, out-of-the-box concept, the Kings County Health Sciences University. And that will be dedicated to consolidating care between the present UHB, Kings County, Brookdale, Interfaith, Kingsbrook, One Brooklyn Health, with agreements in place that will require downstate faculty and senior nurses and ancillary staff to be assuming primary responsibility for improving quality throughout the new system. The investment will include multiple neighborhood satellites that will be supervised by downstate faculty, and that will focus on readily available continuity care, vaccine compliance, preventive health screening, and promotion of healthy lifestyles during the day, and become urgent centers locally with radiology capacity after hours for imaging, and those will be interpreted off-site by Zoom by downstate radiologists.
Thank you.
The new downstate should be smaller and will focus on high-end care for the 1 million individuals who live in our area and who are being underserved. Look at COVID data.
Thank you.
We would look for cardiology services, which is taken away. Cardiothoracic, comprehensive cancer, taken away. Radiation oncology, taken away.
Thank you.
Comprehensive surgical subspecialties that affect for children and adults, taken away. That's why there's no revenue. That's why there's no beds. Let's not be naive anymore.
Thank you.
My suggestion is the recommendation should have
excuse me.
4 tenets. One, that there are over 1 million people who need to be served. Number 2, the largest supplier of future New York City physicians are not from Manhattan, but from our training program. The students at one of the largest medical schools in the country will benefit from seeing complex cases, as she earnestly stated, and engage faculty as they rotate and observe not only high-end, but go out to the satellites and see community medicine delivered in a culturally sensitive way to our diverse population. But the most important one is that given the financial atmosphere, this program will save money. It will reduce redundancy, having little things set up in all 5 of these places. It will improve quality of care throughout the entire central Brooklyn. And it will ultimately diminish advanced disease states, unnecessary ER visits, unnecessary hospitalizations, unnecessary ICU admissions by focusing on preventive care, early detection of diseases, and better compliance of therapeutic programs.
Thank you, Doctor. If you could please, if you have more that you would like to add, if you could submit that as a written testimony, and we can take that and make sure copies are received by all of the members. Thank you. just out of respect that we have other people who want to make testimonies, if you can please keep your statements to 2 minutes. If you have it written, please feel free to either give it to us or upload it to the site or send it via email, and we will ensure that every board member will receive it. Also know that all written testimonies will be made public. It will be placed on the public website. Okay, thank you.
Minister Yvette Gardner.
Yes.
Okay, SUNY Downstate, 31 years. I would like to say to the staff, to the board, thank you for coming again. This is my second speech, so I'm gonna make it short. Testimony, after the last meeting, you did hear some of our concerns. The inside construction, in-house, we had picked up a lot of in-house projects. They did not contract out to the outside contractors. So I thank you for hearing some of that. Dr. Rabinowitz, I would like to thank you because that's my granddaughter's GI doctor. Excellent service. So with this being said, I'm not gonna stay long-winded. I want to say thank you to the staff that came out. Please continue to support in-house projects, not contractors, because they don't care about our building, they don't care about what's going on, and they're not taking care of our facility correctly. They are causing more damage than good. That's true. Okay, so the thing about I have to say with this is because I spoke out at the last meeting, I was reprimanded and given informal counseling. So I need you all to hear this and hear this clearly. I will not shut up. I will not regulate. I live in this neighborhood. I work in this facility, and I'm gonna keep fighting for my people and my staff. And there's nothing else anybody in this room can do about that. So you go back and you tell the powers to be, you can't keep me in my pay grade. You cannot tell me do not patronize with the higher up and don't make my concerns to those that need to listen. It's about saving money, not wasting money. I'm a taxpayer and I'm a worker at SUNY Downstate. That's
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to give an acknowledgement. Orlando Ross is here from Congresswoman Yvette Clarke's office. So he's just giving acknowledgement. Thank you for coming out. We have a couple more people. Sir, if you.
It's my turn, thanks.
Yes, what's your name, please?
My name is Hector Robertson,
Thank you.
and I am a longtime resident of Crown Heights. With over 3 million folks in Brooklyn, in this area, depending on this institution, and looking forward to actually getting the care that they need from a trusted institution, this center must remain open at all costs possible. The fact is that 95% of the residents of the SUNY Downstate area are people on Medicare and with no commercial insurance. This is a problem for most of the people because they're depending on the fact that their Medicare is going to help them get the care that they need. And with the federal government threatening this potential source of medical care, this becomes a bigger problem for those folks. $750 million is really not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money to invest in all of the necessary repairs and upgrade that this institution needs. And you guys up here in this advisory board should tell this to the governor. All of us need to actually sign that e-letter and tell this governor that she needs to actually invest more money on this institution. Check this out. The budget for 2026 in New York State is $252 billion, which is 3.6% higher than this year. You mean to tell me she can't find $1 billion to do this? Whatever it is, she needs to find it. and she needs to invest it in this institution. And so the only question in my mind right now is this. Is it because it's just blacks in this community?
Yes.
Because otherwise, we have to actually tell her, you gotta do this. Thank you.
Cece Evans.
Good evening, I'm Cece Evans, I'm a nurse, so bear with me. And I retired from SUNY Downstate. I've been hanging around here 56 years. I come up and talk about what we can do with the money. First, we need to start on checking on pipes in the place. Everybody is saying the truth. I've been around that place. I did construction, I did the control room, refrigeration shop, and I left fire. I retired out of fire safety. So that means I've been all through from the roof to the sub-base. The pipes leaks. Whether they bring in the patient at, the water come down like it's raining outside from the pipes. I worked every shift, all 3 shifts. Control room has 3 shifts. The floors need to be redone. The walls, some of them need to be done. The roof need to be done. The machine, it's not a machine, it's like a barrel on the top of the roof where the water stays, so when the people drink the water out the faucet, need to be done. See, they wouldn't know this because they didn't do the work I did. I was all over. If anybody know about FMD, we everywhere, okay? And I'm from the control room, that means I did a little bit of everything. That's why I know what I'm talking about. Yes, they need all of this, but if we don't get the pipes done, we don't get the floors done, we don't get the ceilings taken care of in the walls, it's gonna fall down around us anyway. So we need to get all of that done right along with the patients, the nurses, the doctors, and Indian chief. As far as Kings County, they were sending patients over to us because they overbook. Other hospitals, even Brookdale, send patients to us. People don't know this because they're not downstairs in the what you call it, emergency room. So like I said, I'm not gonna stay up here no longer because the little bit I told you should be enough.
I just want to remind everyone, that's the board.
And they got ears, they hear us.
I know, I was like, well, yeah, I was feeling the stuff. No, I appreciate it, thank you very much. I just want to make sure that most of the energy goes that way. Okay? But thank you very much. You were definitely heard, and I really appreciate it, thank you. Saquon Herring. Saquon Herring. Okay. Now, I'm just here because I have Reditha. Right here. But before I call you, because I have 2 people left, and Mr. Gallimore would like to be last. Okay. So I just want to make sure that if there are anyone else that would like to speak, because if you came in later and I might have called you, if you could please either line up on that mic or this mic. If you've already spoken, please, we can have a conversation afterwards. But I just want to make sure before I call Reditha and Mr. Gallimore. Okay, is that okay, Reditha? You okay with that? Thank you. And he did request to be last, so I just want to respect that. Okay, thank you. If you could please give your name.
My name is Saquon Herring. I am the UUP chapter president at the SUNY College of Optometry. Downstate is our sister school, but most importantly, I was born and raised in Brooklyn. Right? I stand in tonight because I care deeply about the hospital, about what it means to the community, our families, and our future. $750 million is a powerful opportunity. It's not just the numbers on the page. It's a chance to rebuild trust, strengthen care, and to save lives. We have the chance to create a hospital that truly reflects the needs of the people it serves. A place where every patient, no matter the background, receives excellent care, dignity, and compassion. I ask that we invest in Downstate not just with bricks and mortar, but with vision. Let's focus these funds on what matters most. Safe facilities, modern technology, better staffing, and services that meet the needs of our neighbors. Let's build a hospital where our seniors feel safe, our children can thrive, and our most vulnerable are never turned away. Downstate has been here in our hardest moments, so now we have a chance to be here for Downstate. Let's not drop the ball.
All right now.
Hello, my name is Sebastian Cota, and I'm currently a Master Public Health student in Washington Heights. And I'm here to speak about the necessity of having the emergency department and thinking about how the majority of the patients in this community suffer from a lot of chronic disease, chronic kidney disease, heart failure, everything. It's very vital that we have the emergency department, not just to treat their immediate acute symptoms, but also as a way to connect them to primary care using patient navigators. Kings County has over 126,000 patients in the ED per year, and Downstate has about 60 to 70,000. So it's not okay to close Downstate and force them to go across the street to Kings. That's not okay. We need to expand the ED at Downstate and ensure that we can provide these services for these patients. And in fact, connecting patients to primary care can save money. According to a study from the VA from 2016 and 2019, connecting patients to primary care resulted in savings from $700 to $4,000 per patient per year, with over $16,000 in savings for the most high-risk patients. Therefore, it is critical that not only we expand the emergency department at Downstate, but we connect these patients to primary care so they can get the care they need. Because we know that Medicaid reimbursement is low, especially Medicare as well. That's why we're losing money. We don't have the commercial patients. So you said we need to have at least 10% commercial. No, we need to serve our patients who are on Medicaid, who are on Medicare, who are uninsured. We need to bring the care to them, not just because of this, the reimbursement issue and having Downstate having to face that issue ourselves because we're the only state hospital in New York City. That's not okay. We need to invest in the ED. We need to invest in community health because that will promote not only the financial well-being of the hospital, but the physical, the mental, the emotional, and spiritual well-being of people in this community. These are humans. These are not just numbers, not just reimbursement, not just payments, but people whose lives are at stake. So it's important to invest in prevention, invest in primary care, and use the ED to a good use to connect these patients to primary care. Thank you.
Thank you. If you could give your name, please.
Good evening. My name is Dana Seek, and I'm a proud first-year medical student at SUNY Downstate. I care deeply about saving Downstate, including its inpatient services, as an invaluable healthcare and training institution. While I've attended 2 of the 3 previous hearings, I haven't yet spoken, and that is because of the same sentiment that so many people have already shared tonight. We do not trust that you or the people standing behind you care and that you're listening. But the presentation mentioned that 1/3 of Brooklynites leave the borough for inpatient care, something I think was meant to tell us that there was justification for closing Downstate. Then sure, you could let every hospital in Brooklyn crumble, starting with the public hospitals that serve the most vulnerable and underserved. And then one day, 100% of Brooklynites could leave the borough to get their care. Seems like an interesting plan and preposterous. Healthcare is a human right. It is not a business. This community needs Downstate. We as students need Downstate. And I think you have the recommendations you need. Find $1 billion, find more. Thank you.
Before you speak, I just wanted to let everyone know that Portia Edwards is here from Senator Zelma Myrick's office. Just wanted to acknowledge her. Thank God. Thank you. Oh, she's back there. Hi, Portia. How are you? Thank you. Thank you for coming out this evening. If you could please give your name.
Good evening to all of you. My name is Dr. Moro Salifu. I'm the chair of medicine at SUNY Downstate Medical Center. I'm also the chair of the clinical chairs. We have 18 chairs of the College of Medicine. 16 of those chairs are clinical oriented, and they are the leaders of the clinical enterprise at SUNY Downstate. We have already submitted 4 statements since we started this process, but we found it very necessary to provide another statement which summarizes what we have said in the last statements. We also want to thank the advisory, the Downstate Community Advisory Board. They gave us an audience on February 28th. We were able to make our points, and they asked a number of questions. We were very pleased with that. We provided the responses in the meeting, but one of the issues that came up was a March 21st, 2025 Crain's article that is entitled Floated SUNY Downstate Proposal Would Shrink but Not Shutter Hospital Services. We read that Crain's article and we thought that it was necessary to actually provide a formal response to the questions that were asked in the meeting on February 28th. I have a 7-page response, which I will not be able to read all that, but I'm going to give you a summary and I would give a copy to all of you. You have some time to read in your free time.
And Dr. Morrow, I did receive it and
very
did
good.
send it.
Okay, very good, very good. Now, as the UHD's clinical and academic leaders, we are really committed. We really want to work hard. I'm telling you that since this started, it frustrated and stressed a lot of the clinical chairs. But I'm here to tell you that none of the chairs has taken a new job anywhere else. We're really here, we want to work, we know you're working hard to make a decision finally, but we the chairs, we want to let you know we are really working hard. We will stay at Downstate and we will work with you to make it work. But our community and our learners need UHD as an autonomous, independent, academic teaching tertiary care hospital that is physically connected to the colleges. And by the colleges, I mean everything on campus. Because those are the learners, and they need a hospital to be able to learn. We also want to reassert our unanimous opinion that moving UHD to another facility as either an interim step or long-term solution would fracture the clinical services and make it very difficult to rebuild back. So that is the statement I wanted to make tonight. I would distribute that to all of you, and we wish you good luck with the deliberations.
Thank you. And I just wanted to confirm once again, we did receive the statement, so we do have it and it has been distributed to the DCAB members. If you give me your name, just a couple more people.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, board. My name
Please
is
stay closer to the mic.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, esteemed board. My name is Harper Lee. I am a resident of East Flatbush, 42nd Street Board, Block Association President, PTA President of PS 235. And I am here to ask a question. What is the value of life when money's on the table? What is the value you hold? Do you still see faces or do you see numbers? I grew up in Brooklyn. My mom graduated from Brooklyn Jewish Hospital. You know it as Site B. I know it as Brooklyn Jewish Hospital. I was one of the kids running around that hospital. I've lived long enough to see Brooklyn Jewish Hospital turn into a condo. I've lived long enough to see Caledonian Hospital turn into a condo. St. Mary's is gone. Manhattan St. Vincent's is gone. Kingsbrook Jewish is gone. Culturally speaking, you're asking us to do the same thing that was done hundreds of years ago. Get the oxtail and turn it into delicacy. You understand what I'm saying? Here you're stripping, we want to strip services, key services from the community, and we're supposed to accept it. How much more are we going to get stripped? How much more do we have to give? We're talking about medical care. For the least, for the disenfranchised, for children, for the elderly in my community. For me, pandemic time, we ran over to downstate because Kings County was a mass unit. It was overrun. And we got over here and we got treated this fast. Triage, straight in and out. We count on this hospital and we count on the excellent services that it has provided to this community for decades. We count on the doctors that it has pumped out into the community for decades. That's what we count on. It is not a question of penny pinchers and accountants behind the scenes looking at numbers. It's real people, real lives that are affected. For in as much as you have done it to the least of these, my children, you have done it unto me. You know who's saying that? God himself is saying it. And there will be recompense when you do this to the community, when you do it to the disenfranchised, when you do it to those who cannot do for themselves. You're being held accountable. You're being held to a higher standard, a higher expectancy. I'm leaving that on your conscience. Where is your moral code? Where is your moral standard?
Thank you. Thank you.
everyone hear me?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, my name is Fred Baptiste. I am the chair of Brooklyn Community Board 9, where we sit right here. First, if I could, just as a moment for privilege, I just want to, thank the advisory board for all the work you have done. I know it's not easy to come out here to give the additional time that you do after this as well. I want to thank the downstate community. I want to thank the doctors, the faculty, the staff, the students for everything that they've done. I want to say, give my appreciation to the team who's convened these meetings and done all the work in the background in terms of trying to get everything to get these conversations going. I also want to acknowledge my counterparts in CB 17 and CB 14 as well. We understand that these are health issues that they don't just reside in 17, they cross the border. Downstate is a Brooklyn thing. And it's important that we understand that, these decisions don't just affect the zip code or two. This affects health in Central Brooklyn. I also want to thank Medgar Evers College as well for hosting us this evening. I think it's important that we acknowledge that. And just as a part of the history, I want us to understand that Medgar exists because the community willed it to be here. And it's only because of the fights and the battles, that's the reason why it's here. And that's why it's important that we have this conversation this evening. I'm going to try and be very quick in terms of some of the points that I think it's important for us to remember as you continue on your deliberations and your research as well. What is going to be, it's not lost on me that despite the almost $1 billion being committed, we can still lose this. If we do not fix certain things and have certain conversations, we can still lose this.
Yes.
So it's important that we have certain conversations, it's important that certain principles are kept in the field. We have to understand that it's, looking at the previous slides, it's not about fixing, making an old new hospital or a new old hospital. It's about making sure that downstate is transformed and made competitive. If we do not do this, all these other plans we were talking about in terms of making it better, Manhattan will continue to eat our lunch. And we will be here in a couple of years. If I can have another 30 seconds or so. One, we gotta make sure that the plan is for sustainability, but the plan cannot be for downstate to be fully self-sustaining.
Yes.
It is never going to be that. It serves an underserved population, so we can't expect that all of a sudden we're gonna turn the money into downstate. It's gonna be a money-making machine. Two, we also have to make sure that the state has to champion public health, because if we cede the ground to private hospitals, the quality of healthcare becomes a commodity available only to those who can afford it. I also want to make sure that it's important that as we have these conversations, we understand money is tight, but we don't want to be penny wise and pound foolish. These are investments. We are not going to see returns immediately. It's going to be over time, and they need to continue conversations. The facilities and the services must create a healthcare facility for the 21st century. We can't talk about bringing downstate to where it should have been 10 years ago. We need to be talking about what it needs to be 20 years from now. We also need to make sure that downstate is considered part of the Brooklyn Healthcare Network. It isn't by itself. We need to talk about what healthcare looks like in Central Brooklyn and what downstate can do to make sure that is strengthened. Lastly, my point was originally that we need to extend the advisory board, but I know you have lives you need to go back to. But what we do need to have is a permanent community-based advisory board that is established, so that way this conversation continues. It has to continue, it has to be evolving. We have to be able to have a feedback loop, so that way we can iterate and make sure we're getting better and better. We can't just commit to one plan, and if something changes, we're not able to, we have to come right back here and we're back where we started. Thank you very much.
We have two more people, and then Raditha and Mr. Gallimore, did I say it correctly? Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Corey Edwards. Reason why I'm talking now, because as we're listening to all the people speak, the reality of what happened, we have 3 hospitals in less than a mile radius that takes care of about 1.9 million people. And the reality of it is as we keep having these conversations about downstate, and the next will be Kings County, the next will be Brookdale, we're realizing that we're dismantling the community. We're dismantling it in a way where you're having seniors who can't get up and go travel a mile, or their test rides out there, or it's an emergency room. You're talking about babies being born on one side of Brooklyn trying to go to the other. And the reality of what everyone's been saying, I think that we need to really sum this up in the community, is that as you get rid of hospitals, you get rid of lives.
Yes.
The things that we're not saying is that people are going to die.
Yep.
And blood is going to be on the hands of not only the governor, but all the folks that make these decisions. And at some point, we have to realize that that is going to be the key of what's going on. You're dismantling jobs, you're dismantling infrastructure, You're gonna raise property taxes, you're gonna move out the indigenous community, and then people are gonna die. And so until we start to really talk about what healthcare is about saving lives, whether it's a building, whether it's the people, the reality is we have to step up and save lives. So I just needed to say that.
That's right.
Yes. Please give your name.
Hi, my name is Alethea Aline. I'm a resident. I've lived in the neighborhood since 1975. And, you know, all my life has been intertwined with downstate. My children, myself, you know, I live 3 blocks away. And I do remember that this was like the grandest hospital. You couldn't just go there. You know, in my head, I know that you can have a bad year, 10 years, so we can reverse whatever it is. And, you know, you're good today, you're bad tomorrow, you're good again. I wrote down some notes because I'm going to talk about something a little different. I was looking at the slides really quickly, and of course I didn't have on my glasses, so I took pictures. But what I want to also say is, you know, the big cuts in DEI, they're talking that, you know, it's bad to have people who are different. You know, there shouldn't be any different people. And I, you know, was on the UFS for many, many years. And I would look at this grand room with 200 people or 150 people, and maybe there would be just one other person who looked like me. But traditionally, everywhere I go in a SUNY campus setting with campuses, there's very few people who look like me. And that's repeated. Oh, it's always downstate. They could look and they'll say, oh, they must be from downstate.
That's true.
They're from downstate. And you know this to be a fact. And that's repeated in even the professions. When I go to the professional conference, I'm in the occupational therapy program. We just went to the OT conference. And you can spot people who look like you. It's very few. And they're from downstate. They graduated from downstate. We are the diversity in the health professions. It's not, you know, this is just a microcosm of what it really is. Without us, we wouldn't have us in these spaces.
That's right.
So with all this hits on DEI, please, it's very important that we keep downstate and the close-knit relationship with the hospital that we have going. I said, you know, thanks to visits to UUP and visits to Albany with Fred and Raditha and UUP, I understood that we lost a line item for the academic medical centers in the state budget a couple of years ago. It was $87 million, and that's off back, you know, out in my head somewhere. And I thought that exponentially over all this time, of course, it's like take someone's money away, and then 10 years from now, blame them for, you know, being in foreclosure. You know? If $87 million was taken a couple years ago, exponentially, yeah, we're $100 million in debt, right? Okay. I know we have a deficit that matches this investment, right? Okay, Chancellor King, each year you create the legislative ask for SUNY, and we're counting on you. I remember when you came on, I was at the UFS meeting, I was very excited. Why? Because you started to talk about your 4 tenets. And one of your tenets was economic development. And I love that. I love that you knew that, you know, economic development is a part of everything that we do, whether it's education, it's part of the social determinants of health, economic development. There's businesses that count on us. There's families. Not only are we a part of the physical health of the community, we're also part of the economic development and the financial health of the community. People who live there go somewhere else and spend their dollars. The folks that come to downstate spend their dollars in our businesses. So that's what I wanted to talk about. And I also want to say that if you don't have a big vision, you know, we live there in downstate. And people do say I live there, but because it's just 2 blocks away and I'm always there. If you don't have a vision for what we're talking about, I always tell people, make it personal.
That's right. Yes.
What would you like to see in the hospital that you go to? You know, what does your service look like? What would you like to see it look like? That's what we want for ourselves, and that's what we need. And it is the public good.
Thank you. And if there is something that is written and you would like to submit, please submit that to us also. Before, we're gonna end strong. I mean, we're gonna end strong. We know.
We know, right?
We know, and strong. But I just want to acknowledge that Debbie Lewis is here. And she's with the Governor Modi's office. She's the Assistant Secretary of Intergovernmental Affairs.
Thank you.
So she is here, and we have been joined, our other DCAU member, Andrew Ryan, he is here. He didn't want to interrupt and get on stage, but to be on stage because he was here late. He was taking care of some very important business today. So, want to thank you, sir. I didn't want anybody running out because but Reditha, if you could please. And I just want to make sure that Mr. Gallimore said that Nicole, you were going to support him to make sure that he can be the last person.
Hello, I'm Reditha Abraham Nichols. I am the chapter president for UUP for Downstate. The steering committee for Brooklyn for Downstate. As you can see, I'm holding the sign because this is how we feel.
Yes.
That you're not listening or you don't care. You know, through this fight, since we started last year, January, Chancellor, where we met at the church, right? That was our first introduction. Till now, we still feel like no one is listening. So through this process, I started looking at other hospitals. And I actually went to Lenox Hills community board meeting. And they wanted to build a new hospital. And that's when I realized what I've been hearing for years from my parents, that being poor is a crime. The CEO presented there with actual models. It wasn't a PowerPoint presentation like that. It was interactive. People spoke to each other. And do you know what happened at the end of that public hearing, of their community board meeting? The board voted it down. And do you know what they said? They said, build a hospital where people really need it. Wow. And that is Central Brooklyn. They want to have 350 more beds, where in Manhattan, it's 1 person to 10.7, 1 bed to 10.7 people, while in Brooklyn, it's only 2.7 beds per person. That is health disparity. And we're here talking about $1 billion. We need $2 billion. We want what the community needs. We want $2 billion. Right, because every single time there's a setback, the price goes up. I'm telling you right now, we're not going to stop until you break ground. Pick a site, build a hospital. We have other things to take care of. But if we do this now, we no longer have to go through where we keep coming back here. Look at the audience. You know what? I'm representing 200 people because they said I'm tired of this. I'm going to find another way for the governor to hear me. This is not the forum. This is not working. This is not collaborative. We don't want to be spoken to. We don't want you sitting on the stage and looking down at us. You are with us. These are our tax dollars. You're not going to stay 162 miles and make decisions for us. You either come to us with a plan or stop having these meetings.
Mr. Gallimore? Mr. Gallimore?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And the board. Let me say this. Let me kind of lean back so I can. Although I'm going to put you guys on the side for a bit. I want to see all those from the governor office, the mayor office, all those people who were put in office. I'm sending a message from here straight to the governor office, who is on Zoom listening, going to some meeting up there. Let me say this to you. Anywhere I live in Brooklyn, and I told somebody the other day, if I took sick at my house and the ambulance come and said they're taking me over by What's the name of the hospital right over in the bush there? I'm not gonna go. Why? I went to one hospital over there and every piece of my clothes, down to my shoes, was gone. I'm not going back there. So I told him, I said, if I'm sick and the ambulance not gonna take me to downstate, leave me, get out of my house. I'll jump on my chair and fight my way to downstate. One, in 2016, when I first come to downstate with my heart condition, I collapsed in the hallway. And it was a person from patient relation grabbed me up, put me in a chair, and run me into the ER. And from there, I found that Brooklyn Downstate Hospital is mine. I heard some of you asking for, you're going for 2 million or 2 billion. I'm telling you tonight, if I have to put some plaque all over my chair, I'm telling the governor, if she want to go back in office, the mayor, if he want to go back in office, and all the officials that we vote in, if you want to keep your seat, bring up the money. Stop pocketing the money. And I'm dead serious. If I have to take Facebook and put them out there, I will do it. Because I'm not afraid. When it comes on to my health, I'm not going to Manhattan. I'm not going over in Coney Island or wherever. I'm coming straight to downstate. Number one, let me back it up a bit. And this is what I asked to do last. I went to other hospitals and doctors who don't know nothing about me. When I said call my doctors at downstate, oh, we don't have to call them. You're not gonna touch me. And I'm very straightforward. If you can't call my doctors, my cardiology, my primary care, do not touch me. I'll sign out and find them. Okay? When I come to downstate, the first time when the doctors come and find out what's going on, first thing they do, they pick up the paper. Can you sign this paper to release your medical record? That's right, they do. I've been to other hospitals and they never done it. Right? I need downstate doctors, nurses, everyone to continue. Treat people right. Just the way how you treat your kids. The advisory board, I want to say this to you. On the Parkside ramp, I've been looking at it every time I come there. That ramp need to be fixed, not next year, right now. Because when you look, you can see straight into the wall. And it's bad. The next thing, and I'm fighting for, is patients and doctors smoking on the ramp. You can't have a sign, no smoking, and when you look, you see a doctor in his jacket out there puffing away, and patient has to walk up or ride up on the ramp. I don't approve of it. And I want to say this. We're asking for the mayor, the governor, and every elect individual. We need to see you sitting here. Not having the panel up there, but they are the ones to sit up there and take the blows. It's time for them to come from up where they're sitting, getting all these millions in their bank account, and we down here fussing and fighting and can't get what we need.
Thank you.
It is the time for us. If we have to do another rally, we're gonna do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me say that Mr. Gallimore is the last person that signed up to give testimony. This ends our 4th public hearing. But I would like to say this before everyone leaves. One, I want to thank Micah Evers once again for their support in hosting this. We wanted to be equitable and making sure that we gave equal opportunity to have it in 2 different community board districts. And we appreciate that Medgar Evers College, as well as SUNY Downstate Hospital and University, has been more than accommodating for every public hearing we have had. And this one was added as a result of the extension. So I want to say thank you to everyone at SUNY Downstate for their accommodations. I want to thank my team, Dina Consulting Group, and Continuum Design for doing the technology for today. I really want to thank the board members who have dedicated a lot of time, and they advocate on all ends. They represent many constituent groups, and this is such hard work, and it has been an honor to work with them. And we have still a lot of work to do because the timeline is that for final recommendations to be made by the end of May, June 1st. This is not easy work, but these are dedicated individuals who really want to represent you at in any way they possibly can. I am a Brooklynite. Some of you know me. I remember years ago being in Albany and signing the petition to save SUNY Downstate, and it was sub-zero temperatures out there at a rally. So I am you also. And I do, and I appreciate your voice. Your voice has been so important in this process. And I want to thank you. There are many opportunities. I was on the community board for 14 years, community board 3. And there were a lot of times people did not have the voice that they wanted to have when decisions were being made, and we pushed. And so it is an honor that my team and I have been here to work with all of you. So thank you.
UUP got your back. There she goes.
But she gets me. Don't think. I get the text messages. But it's respect. So I just wanted to say that before we officially close out and everybody leaves. It has been an honor and a pleasure. This is the last public hearing, but the email and the link is open, so you can continue to send in your questions and your comments and everything in between. This is what you do. Yeah, I got you, and Ms. Flemings, I got you. I hear you, and I respect you. So with that, I would like to give Andrew. Do you want to say anything, or you did really quick? Andrew was the board member. He just was able to do this.
My day job called, so I was a little late. But I promise you, we taped, right?
Yes, yes.
I get to watch it, so I'm sorry I couldn't be joining all of you the whole time. But I'm going to watch it all, and thank you for coming. I'm sorry I couldn't be here the whole time. But I hear you, and I see you, and I will listen and watch.
Thank you. Everyone, have a good night. Be safe.